My life in boarding school wasn't as easy as you guys though.
My life is hard too สวัสดีค่ะพบกับ
ของแพง
ของขวัญแป๊บนึงแพงทำไมช่วงนี้เราว่างกันจังเลย
Fall break ค่ะทุกคน Fall break อะ Fall break คืออะไร
คือ Fall break คือเราเพิ่งสอบ midterm เสร็จเราก็เลยหยุด1 อาทิตย์วันนี้เราก็เลยมีความพิเศษไว้ทุกคน วันนี้ทำอะไรครับแพง
วันนี้เราจะคลิปนี้เราจะพูดภาษาอังกฤษทั้งคลิป เริ่มเลยนะทุกคน
กลัวมากเลยอ่ะ
โอ๊ยไม่เป็นไรหรอกเธอ Let's start Alright
Okay let's start
Okay
So what are we gonna talk today
Okay So our topic of discussion for today is basically boarding school
Boarding school
Okay so
What is boarding school
Boarding school is basically a college preparatory school.
Wow.
So, boarding school doesn't mean that every single student needs to like board there, as in you need to like spend your nights in the dormitory. So it doesn't mean that. It just means that the majority of the students that go to the school are boarding students.
Wow.
And in both of our cases, because we are international students, we do stay in the dormitories.
Yeah
So I personally went to a boarding school called Peddie, and it's actually a boarding school that's like 20 minutes away from
Princeton
So, 7 years in like freaking New Jersey. I want to shoot myself.
Oh my gosh So I went to Choate Rosemary Hall in Connecticut So wait is it like 3 hours away?
Probably 3 hours.
3 hours
Sounds accurate. So what
Choate
was
Rosemary
so
Hall.
how'd you end up at Choate Rosemary Hall?
Okay, so I got a scholarship from the government and they just let me choose boarding school. And I choose Choate Rosemary Hall as my first choice.
And you got it.
And I got it.
Hey.
What about you?
For me, so before I came to Peddie, if you watched our intro video, and if you haven't, you should go watch it.
Yes, go watch it.
If you watch our intro video, you would know that the school that I attended prior to coming to the US was ISB. And while I was at ISB, basically like a bunch of my friends were applying to go to boarding school, and I just, followed the trend. Because that's
Follow
always
the
what's
trend.
best, apparently. No, I'm just kidding. But, so basically, I applied to boarding school, and basically, I got into Peddie, and I thought it was a pretty good school. I like, my experience about, like, boarding school, in terms of boarding school application, is, like, a long and it wasn't easy for me, but that is another story for, like, another day.
Wait, I'm wondering, like, what did you do when you, like, do the application?
Basically it's very similar to like college application
Okay.
in terms of like you need to write them essays, you need to go through interview, and like if you do decide to come visit the school, that's when you'll do the interview.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically like for every single boarding school you basically need to do an interview.
I see.
And like
Wow.
most like international students choose to like do the interview like in person at the school because you're gonna
At the
visit.
school.
Yeah. So I like over the course of like the application process, I did fly over to the US and like interview.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, well, another reason why I wanted to come to boarding school is because like I feel like you have a lot more freedom
Yeah.
studying in the US. And like if you watched Kwan's scholarship, King Scholarship,
Go
student
watch
claim,
it now.
Go watch it. Like if you watched it, you'll realize at the end, if you watched it until the end, that I said America is the new world. And the reason why I said that was because I feel like the technology here, like the way the education system is taught to students is like very new, very
Yeah.
innovative.
Wow.
And it's like I feel like it's just like a very good way to learn about new things, learn about the world, I guess. And I just like appreciate how things are taught here more.
And we have a lot of freedom. Like,
Yeah, to
choosing
choose what you
classes.
yeah. Like even though you might be more like science oriented, that doesn't mean that like you only have to take classes
That's true.
within like the sciences. You could also like branch out and take like art classes.
Wait, do you have to take history?
Yeah, I had to take history.
Yeah.
And like so for example, like I feel like
think
it's
everyone
pretty
has to
common
take
for like all boarding schools, all
Yeah.
American schools where like you have to take at least like a history, you need to take like
English.
math beyond like a certain like level. Like most schools, I think it's like algebra 2 or something.
Science.
And for sciences, I feel like sciences as long as you take like chemistry and biology, you're
Yeah.
fine.
And
But if
art.
you are like science oriented, like both of us are, then like you're most likely have to take like physics as well. Just basically just to get into college. Because like
True.
yeah.
Because you have to take AP
Yeah.
somehow.
So what's the difference between boarding schools and Thai schools in your case?
I would say freedom. Because in Thailand, we have to take a certain class. Like everyone has to take the same thing.
Uh-huh.
But here you can just choose classes. So when I went to Choate, I chose like econ. Yeah, it's like micro econ, macro econ, and then English, which is really interesting. Like some kind of like reading novel and writing essay about it. So here we should choose like 5 classes.
Yeah.
But in Thailand, I just choose like 12 classes. We have to take like
Dang.
a lot. So you have more time spending on like a certain subject, and you have more time like learning about it, I guess.
What about like in terms of like environment? Like
Oh, because the classes here are kind of small. Like 12 people. Back in Triamudom, I would say. Like we have like 34 people in the classes.
wow.
Yeah. And we sit there the entire time, the whole day.
And like the teachers like rotate around,
Yeah.
right? Instead of so in the US, the difference is like, or in the case of Thai schools, like I'm pretty sure like the teachers would come to your classrooms, right?
And we sit there. We have
Just,
our
like,
own
the whole
table.
day.
Yeah.
But in the US, as in like many boarding schools, like the students go to the teachers' classrooms, and the teachers also don't have like a set classroom.
Yeah.
So like even though like you might learn with this teacher in like this classroom, the next year like you may learn with the same teacher but in like another classroom. So it just depends.
Another thing is that I have so much free time during the day. I don't know why. 'Cause-
Where?
Okay.
In the US?
Yeah. Look at.
How?
Okay, I'm gonna show you a schedule. It's like I have 2 classes in the morning, and I have like 3 hours free. And, like one
Okay,
classes in the afternoon.
here's the
or something.
thing though, like my life in boarding school wasn't as easy as you guys though.
My life is hard too.
What do you mean? Okay, well she was here for like what, as a postgrad?
Yeah. PG.
So okay, what does PG
Okay,
mean?
PG.
PG stands for postgraduate. What
Yeah.
is a postgraduate?
Um,
So basically she's spending like an extra year here
in the US.
in the US, like an extra year beyond senior year, which would be the equivalent of like ม.6, right?
Yeah.
To like basically get used to like the new environment, like maybe brush up on some like English skills and like get used to the system.
That was the hardest part.
But as for me, I came as a new sophomore, so I came in 10th
What is
grade.
sophomore?
Sophomore is
But actually,
P-Song.
okay, so we have like freshmen. We have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Yeah.
So it's like what is freshman exactly?
Freshman is like
So high school
Mosam.
years 4 years. It's
Like
different.
for high school, freshman would be Mosam or like
yeah, more Sam.
Yeah.
And then sophomore is more C.
yeah.
And then
Junior is
junior
more
more
Senior is more
more
whole.
Yeah.
So in my case, the difference between international schools and boarding schools, I feel like there isn't much of a difference in terms of like the educational system.
Wow.
At least for me, because like I came from ISB, which is already an American international school, I guess. But I feel like in terms of like freedom in choosing classes and like everything that Kwan described earlier, I feel like that is relatively similar. But I think like the main difference between boarding school and international school is the time commitment
Yeah.
given by the teacher and how much the teacher is willing to, you know, spend their time and effort into helping you. Like because the teachers are on campus with you, like they
Yeah.
literally live with you and they're like
Wow.
your dorm supervisors who like check you in at night for this thing we call study hall, which is basically like for most schools like 8 to 10 of like mandatory like studying doing homework, which kind of sucked at the time, but you know it like made us get things done.
I think that's a good thing about boarding school though.
Wow.
Because like I went to see my teachers 9 p.m.
Yeah.
and you get
And
your
then you
answer.
do get your help.
Yeah.
Like you do get the help you need. It's not that the teachers at international school like or like ISB weren't willing to help. It's just literally because like you can't be there physically to see them at like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at night when you're like struggling to get your homework done.
Yeah.
I think that's just like the main difference. Yeah. So, and that's like something I really do appreciate about boarding school.
But life was hard at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
feel like,
feel like I have to study the whole day.
and also at boarding school we have this thing where after school like regardless of whether like how early you're done, you will have like an after school activity that's
Yeah.
like mandatory.
Wow.
And like in my case, like the after school activities I chose were like tennis. So in high school I did play tennis as like a competitive sport. So I was in like JV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played for varsity my senior year.
Wow, varsity.
Okay, we didn't have archery.
I was really tired at that time. But like thinking back, I think it's like such a good time.